Sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Warlock Build-A-Figure Wave Shatterstar figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
7 figures in this wave. You have 8 per case. There are 2 Wolverines per case. You only need the remaining 6 figures to complete the Warlock Build-A-Figure. And taking a look at Shatterstar out of the package, and this is an okay figure. Leaves a bit to be desired for me. It's not a terrible figure. Definitely happy to have this guy, especially in this particular costume, because that leads me to believe that we will get a classic X-Force at some point. Shatterstar's abilities include superhuman strength and stamina and agility, speed. His mind is enhanced. He was actually genetically engineered in the Mojoverse. That's where he comes from originally, and he has an advanced healing factor. He is a crazy hand-to-hand combatant and proficient with all types of weapons. He can use his swords to make these sort of vibrations and make some sort of field to teleport. He is a pretty formidable adversary. In terms of accessories, he comes with the right arm to complete the Warlock Build-A-Figure, and I already have an issue with the arm. Looks like it's snapped there at the double joint. Cool to see that it has a double jointed elbow, but it is broken here. So I'm going to definitely have to replace this and get another Shatterstar so I have a working right arm for Warlock. And then he also comes with his 2 signature swords, and this one is double bladed, so that is accurate to the comic books. And he's got these kind of spiked parts here, which means that he could not only slice you and stab you and disembowel you, but he could actually punch you while holding these swords and inflict some serious damage as well. So that's pretty crazy. The swords look like crap though. They don't look good at all. There really is no paint detail on here at all. It's just a flat sort of silver, no dry brushing, no detail. They look awful actually. And really it's more like a gray color. It's not even silver. If the blades were actually silver to sort of represent a metallic material, then you know that would actually look better. But being that it's just this kind of flat gray color, they don't look that great. However, he can hold the swords with no problem. There seems to be no issue with him gripping them and holding them and keeping them firm. I think this is pretty comic accurate. I think they did a good job as far as accuracy goes. Maybe except for this little strap that's on his right thigh, which I don't really remember from the original art. Let me take a look at it real quick. Yeah, looking at New Mutants 100 and X-Force #1. This wasn't there. I'm not sure why they actually added that, but maybe again they're testing the waters. I think I do remember Cable having something like this, these straps on his thigh. So maybe they tested the water, and maybe they're gonna start trying to round out this team. When X-Force #1 came out, that was actually right around the time that I started collecting, reading comic books. I was probably like 9 years old, so I can sort of remember this stuff vividly, but it is nice to go back and look. But again, I'm sidetracking. I'm reminiscing once again. But the deco, like I said, it is pretty accurate. The straps and everything here on his belt look good. At least they're painted and have some detailing. Maybe the only other thing they could have done was kind of really painted the buttons a different color. But the buckle here and everything looks good. He's got the white and a black stripe going down here. This looks like the Bucky cap mold with maybe some different parts for the arms and shoulders. Obviously some different boots. These are new. This piece is probably new, and the shoulder piece is probably new. And again, a lot of this stuff from the 90s era as far as costume design and stuff. Rob Liefeld was into a bunch of pouches and all of this crazy stuff, and this looks pretty good. The face sculpt looks good. The hair looks pretty good. Maybe you could have added a little more shade in the hair. But the deco is accurate and it looks decent. And just a closer look at the face. I wish they would have actually made his face look a little more angry maybe. Maybe just a few more details in the face as well. But it's not terrible. And just a few little minor paint imperfections. You can see some white bleeding into that black strip there. And it looks like they tried to paint these little parts here. It would have been nice if they painted the ones on the inner thigh white. You know, they do that a lot. And these look okay. You know, not the greatest detail, but they look okay. In terms of articulation, this head is on a ball joint. Let's see if this will come off. Alright, so it does come off. You can see the ball joint there, and you can see it looks like it's supposed to get a really good range of motion as far as back and forth, but being that he has a lot going on with the headgear and his hair, you know, it's going to hinder the articulation just a little bit. Still, the head looks up pretty far. It's not going to really hold that position again because of the hair, and he can look down just about that much. So not the greatest range of motion as far as up and down on the head, but it will turn left to right and get a bit of a pivot. No issues there. Really wish they would have articulated this ponytail. You know, we've seen legends do that in the past, but if this was articulated and could spin in a way, then it would actually be a lot better, and you might actually be able to get the head to stay in a fixed position looking up. And his shoulder pad and this little miniature fly guy mini cape or whatever that thing is supposed to be is a soft material as well, so you can kind of move that around a bit, and so it doesn't really hinder the shoulder articulation. But this ball joint is kind of weird. There is no cut here on the shoulder, so it's only going to go up just about that far on both. Like I said, I do think these arms are different, even though the base body seems to be the Bucky Cap mold. This chest and arm section seem to be different. You get an upper bicep swivel. You do have a double jointed elbow. It's hindered just a little bit by the glove. Let's see if you get rotation on the glove. No, but you do get rotation at the wrist and a hinge on the wrist. The ab crunch is going to come down just about that much and go back that far. And you do get a waist swivel. This belt is a separate piece, so it's not hindering the waist articulation. You can see a clear T-joint at the pelvis. The legs will come up just about that far. They'll go back that far. Splits look like that. You get an upper thigh swivel. You get a double jointed knee. You do actually get a little rotation here at the boot, so that's cool. You get a hinge and a pivot on the foot, and that seems to work with no problem. This is annoying. This piece keeps sliding down, so that's pretty annoying. I might actually take this off, being that I don't think that it's comic accurate anyway. But same thing on both sides as far as the arms and the legs go. And I do wish they may have, I wish they would actually maybe pick a different buck for this guy, because he's really, really agile. In the comics, he's like jumping and kicking and flipping and doing all types of crazy stuff. I don't know if this was the best choice as in terms of the mold for this. Also, one thing that I really, really hate is when the arms of the figures cannot rest completely at the sides, and whatever they use for this upper body, however they sculpted this, the arms do not go down any farther than that. And that is a pain in the ass. Two size comparisons with some of Shatterstar's X-Force teammates. You have the Toy Biz Cannonball figure, which was on that old Ghost Rider buck. And you can see how we all over the place here in terms of streamlined and a good-looking team as far as the aesthetics go. And on the right, you have Warpath, which was released by Hasbro during the Return of the Marvel Legends phase, I guess. So that was like right before they started labeling the packaging Return of Marvel Legends. This was part of that 2-pack. And this costume is sort of accurate. It's more of a modern look. It's not really exactly how he looked during the time with X-Force. But I think that as far as the size goes for Warpath and Shatterstar here, it's about right. Maybe if and when they redo Cannonball, they can definitely make him on a bigger buck. I think Cannonball has a bit more girth than is represented here by this old Toy Biz figure. And then we have the old Toy Biz Cable on the left, who has always been way too small. Cable's supposed to be about 6'8". Shatterstar's supposed to be about 6'3". So obviously that does not work. Obviously we would need an updated Cable aside from the one that we recently got in the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. And speaking of the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, we have that Wolverine figure on the right, and Shatterstar and Wolverine, their size difference seems like it might be about right. Again, maybe Shatterstar could be just a tad bit taller on a different buck that gives him a little more height. But these two have faced off in the comic books a couple of times. I would consider Shatterstar the Wolverine of X-Force. Yeah, I'd say the two of them are very similar in fighting ferocity. They both are very savage fighters. And last one here, there is the cable from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, and that seems to work out right. You can see how tall that figure is. Seems like he would be about 6'8", right? And then we have the Cyclops from what I want to say was the Brood Build-A-Figure wave on the right. So one thing I should definitely note is that the shoulder pad and his little miniature Fly Guy cape is one piece. And if you remove his head, you can pull that up over the neck and you can remove it, and it'll give the head and neck a bit more articulation, but then it kind of breaks the deco and you don't have him in the most accurate deco if you take that off. But I'm a little disappointed with this figure overall. Like I said at the beginning, it leaves a bit to be desired. I wish it had better articulation and it was representing his agility a bit more. I am excited to see where they go with this. I would like a classic X-Force. I would like to see them revisit Warpath in the correct costume, in that classic costume. I know many people wanted a classic Cable, even though we got that sort of X-Sanction Cable. So to see a classic Cable, to see Boom Boom, I could see them doing Feral, maybe using that body that they use for Jackal. I could see that happening. Boom Boom is easy. We can use any of those female molds. Another Cannonball, a classic Cannonball would be great. Who else? And Domino, classic Domino, or a more modern Domino to go with the more modern version of X-Force. That would work too. But you know, Shatterstar is one that I would still recommend that you pick up just because of the possibility of them doing more characters from that classic X-Force team. And then the last thing I want to mention is reading material. I would highly recommend that you read Peter David's run on X Factor. At some point, Shatterstar had joined X Factor as part of their little investigation squad, and Peter David's entire run on X Factor was phenomenal. It was genius. It was funny. It was suspenseful. It was everything, man. So I would definitely recommend you read that. And I do like how they explored Shatterstar's character in that book and explored his homosexuality and his relationship with Richter. And I don't want to give away too much there. I didn't really like that particular costume that he was sporting during that time, but it is a great look into the character. All right, until next time, peace.
That's crispy.